Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, happy Monday. It's The Great Divide. I'm your host, Jeff Beck. I'm watching in the YouTube studio. I'm trying out their new dual stream function where you can do horizontal and vertical. So if I seem distracted, that's why. I just want to see how it turns out. They're not going to see my graphics, I just realized, but that's okay. Welcome in. We had a good show Thursday. We have a ton of topics tonight. There's so much going on in the world, especially in the world of 24/7 news. So I can't possibly touch on all topics when this is twice a week. Maybe someday if my crypto explodes or I win the lottery, I'll do it daily. But, some of the things we're not going to talk about, Homeland Security is on their third week of not being funded. I saw some of the TSA lines were insane, terrible. Thank goodness I don't have to fly anywhere anytime soon. There was almost a bombing in New York, two of them, but it was the same incident. Of course, Mom Donnie blamed white supremacy. I don't have sound bites. Wah, wah. Now, I think what he meant, of course, well, I'm not going to try to get inside of his mind, but the first protest was pretty childish too. They brought a roast pig to his residence because he's Muslim. But then a counter protest broke out, and Islamic protester had the bomb. So when they questioned the New York City mayor about it, of course, he blamed white supremacy. So I think he's assuming the first protests were white supremacists. I don't think they were, but again, I don't know. It's not one of the topics tonight anyway. And then I have on the screen behind the camera, USA-Mexico, first pitch any minute here in the World Baseball Classic. So we're going to try to go a little bit less politics tonight. Of course, we're still going to touch on some of them. A lot of sports heavy, I think. But we do touch on some politics, but give you a little bit of a breather because the last few shows was just wall-to-wall politics. But before we get started, I should put my scroll on the bottom and my color source. Boom, there we go. Rookie mistake. Top right-hand corner is our QR code for our ticketing platform that helps North American Talk Radio. That's where that's the place that houses this show, The Great Divide, Daily Dive, our college partnerships, other live content, other pre-recorded content, documentaries, miniseries, stuff like that. So if you use that QR code or you hit the event tickets tab on our website, natalkradio.com or .us, just gets us a little credit. Doesn't cost you any extra, just one extra step. And then they know you came from us. So there you go. That's a way you can help us out. There's other ways on our website too that you'll see. What you'll also see is Mr. Dan Hurley, the coach of UConn, very successful, won a couple national championships back to back, but he received a $25,000 fine from the Big East Conference. He was ejected. He's over 10 known technicals and ejections now. I had an interesting note I took before the show. He was once ejected when he was a coach at Rhode Island. He was once ejected from a closed-door scrimmage. So that's what we're dealing with here. But we're talking about a hothead. I'm going to show you the video. I'm going to show you a still image while he's talking and claiming he didn't bump the ref. You be the judge.
I didn't think I bumped the ref. I thought I got close to yelling at John. I mean, if John thinks I bumped him, then he'll say I bumped him, but I don't think that I bumped the official. I think I yelled, into the back of his head, foul. And then, you're listen, the officiating for us, it is what it is. In this league, I'm not going to comment, on that.
Okay, so you hear him, the officiating against us, right? You've won two national titles. I don't think anybody's out to get you, and it feels like this guy feels entitled. He is notorious for having an intense sideline demeanor. I can't remember what school they were playing, maybe St. John's. You can hear him on mic after the game, like F you and the students. We're going to get to more of that later, too, with two different teams from the MAC. But it's like, this guy's out of control. And then, is this what professionalism is now in sports? Like, you're only a real man if you're going to get up in the ref's face. Like, the ref's human too, and he calls it how he sees it. Furthermore, I don't think it was a foul. Defenders, I know 3 people that were longtime refs in basketball, and they say the defender has from the floor to the ceiling, they're allowed to jump. You remember your coach said, don't leave your feet. Technically, you're allowed to jump. You have from the floor to the ceiling once you establish your position. If the offensive player runs into you and you fall backwards, that doesn't mean you didn't jump straight up and down. It's not supposed to be a foul. I know most fans are in denial about that. They think that the defender just has to ole out of the way of the offensive player. That's not what the rule book says. So, give the ref some credit. It's probably I would say it's the toughest job on the floor, but this guy's a maniac. And is this professional? Is this the level of professionalism we're looking for out of coaches now? Could you imagine a CEO walking into a boardroom and chest bumping an employee? They'd be fired before they even got out of the room. But somehow this guy gets away with it. Seems like a family problem because I think this was in real time. Both brothers just having complete, absolute meltdowns on the sidelines and getting kicked out of their games. Like, what is this? Were you brought up spoiled? Everything's got to go your way? Because I've watched more UConn games than I have Arizona State. But I could tell you, Dan Hurley, I think he honestly thinks, and it reminds me of Izzo a little bit, he honestly thinks all the calls should go his way. And if it doesn't, he throws temper tantrums. And to a guy like me, it gets old. And if you're watching this on shorts, because I'm trying the vertical stream as well as the horizontal, the normal, just because I wanted to see how it worked. You can't see the graphics, so go to the regular stream. But yeah, it gets tiring, man. It gets tiring, especially when at least that case, and I'm sure there was other cases where the ref wasn't wrong, and then you go full meltdown. But if we're going to talk about the lack of professionalism in modern day sports, how about Miami of Ohio, 31-0, right? A lot of pride there, being 31-0. I know there's been a lot of talk. They're probably frustrated that maybe they're on the bubble. It's hard to fathom that a 31-0 team's on the bubble. I understand that. But I don't know that this should be the norm going forward.
The win. And the Red Hawk revival ends in a perfect regular season. 31.
So there's middle fingers in there. Now, somebody said they did this in retaliation of bottles being thrown at them. I think that started after the middle fingers. I'm not going to take OU's student section side or Miami of Ohio's side other than to say, if you're the 31-0 team that just beat your rival on your rival's court, be the bigger men. You've got more to lose than the drunk student in the crowd that may have thrown a bottle at you, which they don't sell glass. So, I mean, I know it's seriously, I'm not advocating for the bottle throwing from the student section, but your team ran over and started giving them the finger before that started. Had you not done that, had you, shook the hand of OU and walked to the locker room, a lot of that would have been avoided. And again, you're the 31-0 team. You got to be the example. You got to be the professional winners. Some people don't know how to win professionally or with humility. This happened in another MAC game, Kent State-Akron.
1 second left, fadeaway for the tie, no good! Kent State wins it, 66-64.
Wow, look at this celebration, really aggressive into the stands almost. Wow. Heated rivalry and Kent State enjoying their victory.
I mean, we're going to have ugly scenes going forward if we don't nip this in the bud. I mean, we've got to nip this in the bud now, or there's going to be some ugly scenes. So if you're keeping score at home, we've had a big-time, super famous coach bump a ref, get ejected, in denial after the game, saying he doesn't think he bumped him. Again, I'll show you the picture. He bumped him. And then we have 2 MAC teams, one that's undefeated, one just upset Akron, who a lot of people think is going to win the MAC tournament, flicking off and starting fights with the student section. So let's class up the joint a little bit. I know it's hard. You watch the news, politicians aren't classy. Hey, I did a segment on all the CEOs of fast food. They were classy. It was awkward, but they were classy. So we have some classiness still in society. Speaking of a lack of class, though, I don't have enough time to talk about Keith Olbermann and the downfall of Keith Olbermann, but this man has such levels of TDS. I think he's beyond repair, and I think that's where it started. I mean, I've been following him on social media for years. I loved him on ESPN, but I feel like since 2016, he's had this serious downfall, and he just got in this public spat with, I think it's Susie Colbert, somebody else that worked on ESPN. I can't remember her last name. I think it's Colbert or something like that. He got in a public spat with her. Again, she was just being human and said something, and then he wanted to turn it scorched earth and just over the top stuff that this guy says. This is the same guy the other day when Lou Holtz passed. He called him a legendary scumbag. Lou Holtz. Because why? Why are you calling Lou Holtz a scumbag? Because he votes differently than you? That's where we're at now in society? Oh, you must be a scumbag. You didn't vote like me. Well, what if we all did that? Everybody's a bunch of scumbags. Well, he attacked a man. Now, Stephen A., I think, has recently said that he's probably not going to run for office. Now he's changed his mind. I think he's changed his mind because he doesn't want to have to give up his money, and he makes about $40 million a year. So Stephen A., I actually agree with that. Why ruin your life running? I mean, if you go into politics, we're going to have a story here after the break. No, it's going to be the next story before the break. If you go into politics making around, the six-figure mark, $100,000, yeah, go into politics. You'll probably get a lot of money out of it because they all seem to get rich. But if you're already making $40 million a year and then you're going to go through that ringer of politics where they just tear you down and they make stuff up, a lot of politicians have stuff made up about them. And then take a pay cut and then hope you get in the tank and start getting kickbacks. It'd take him forever to get back to that 40 million. I wouldn't do it. But he was attacked by Keith Olbermann, and Stephen A. doesn't have to abide by any kind of political rhetoric. He just comes out and says it.
I'm sick of your pathetic ass. I really, really am. You're a 66-year-old barely with any friends. Who the hell knows what's going on in your life? And all you do is sit back, and the second you disagree with somebody, you pop shit. You, of all people, you, Keith Olbermann, literally trying to get me fired? It's time for ESPN to follow Stephen A. He's hurting the brand. He's bad. He's damaging the brand. What? Cartoon character? Who looks more like a cartoon character than you? Keith Olbermann, you can't run 5 feet with your fat self. And I'm not talking about fat people. I'm talking about Keith Olbermann. You can't run 5 feet. You've been walking around with a cane, exercising melodrama every chance you get.
Yep.
All you do is make enemies. You napalm bridges all the time, including ESPN.
I couldn't say it any better. He napalms bridges. He's just Keith Olbermann has completely lost it. Actually, kind of as a counselor on the side, I feel bad for him. But it's like, what are you doing? And I don't know. I think it's all political. I think he's completely gone off the deep end. That would be my lesson to you at home. Like, live your life. It's not all about that. You can have your disagreements. You can have your political beliefs. But, man, if it's affecting your quality of life, because Keith Olbermann doesn't seem happy. He doesn't seem happy. And that's all he does is burn bridges now over politics. It's like, it's crazy. But, shout out to Stephen A. I actually applaud him for saying, you know what? I don't think I want to run. I mean, he's getting a taste of it with Keith Olbermann on Twitter. This is how people are going to act, but you're going to have a whole lot more people acting like that towards you. So there you go. Now, Why do people get into politics then if they tear you down? Well, apparently the Texas Senate primaries, which were pretty heated, we did a segment on it Thursday. Jasmine Crockett feels like there was cheating involved. Tallarico beat her. I think, I can't remember who won the Republican one, but here's why people do get into politics. Then we'll question why it takes this.
At the magic wall, John, obviously everyone's watching these numbers really closely, wanting to see what this looks like. We've seen how much spending has gone into this race alone. I was looking at this between Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico. He outpaced her by about 5-1 in ad spending leading up to tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to spread this out. If you want to, this is what makes a lot of people at home just go, "Urgh," about politics. This is the most expensive Senate race in history. $71 million spent just in favor of Senator Cornyn, the Republican incumbent. $71 million spent for one candidate who's probably going to be in a runoff, so they're going to probably have to do it again. But
Which
then
is
you look
insane.
at the other races here. Pro Tallarico, $24.3 million. Pro Crockett, $5 million. You see.
So the Republicans spent $71 million in ads, Tallarico $24 million. Now ask yourself, because Texas state senators receive a base salary of $7,200 per year or $600 a month. Now, federal, people that you see on TV, the senators and members of Congress, they make $174,000. Okay, not to reveal too much about myself, but that's not really in the grand scheme of things, $174,000. That's not a lot. Just in the grand scheme of things. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not trying to brag about anything. I'm just saying you could make that in the private sector and have a lot less headache. Why are they spending tens of millions of dollars to get a job? First of all, you could argue it's not their money. They're getting it from donors. I get it, but why does it take that much money? Why are you fighting so hard for that money? It's because our American political system is absolutely broken. It's pay to play. It's pay to play. The two that spent the most won their races. Although Cornyn's going to have a runoff, they said. I think the vote was closer than they expected. But it's pay to play. They're getting money from donors that, they break it up so they don't commit election infractions with, there are only certain people, individuals can give up to a certain amount. But it's because it's the quid pro quo. We're going to donate this much to your campaign to get you elected, but then you're going to push for these bills. And, if you get them passed or if you get things done that we want done, we'll pay you. This is what happens with most presidents. We'll pay you $100,000 to speak at our conference every year. Like, it's pay to play. It's a crooked system. I don't know how you're going to clean it up. I have complaints, not solutions, but that's why they're spending $71 million to get a $174,000 a year job, because that's just their base pay. That doesn't count the kickbacks. It doesn't count this. Like, what happens to the money if your campaign raises $71 million but only spent 60 of it? Where's the $11 million go? I mean, you see this with Ilhan Omar. They say in AOC, and I'm not just picking on the Democrats, it's both sides. But, they had these foundations where the donation money came in, and then they have loved ones as the CEO, and they're making millions, right? You see, Governor Newsom, again, it sounds like I'm just picking on the Democrats. I'm not. But there's plenty of Republicans, too, that they're making $174,000 and they live in a $10 million mansion. It's pay to play. That's American politics. Pay to play. So Texas broke a record. The most money ever spent on the Texas primary. Congratulations. Everything's big in Texas, including the donations and the payoffs and the hey-oh. All right, we'll be right back. The Great Divide with Jeff Beck. Beautiful Monday evening. We're in the bottom of the first. USA-Mexico, no score. I'll keep you updated on that, and then you can tune into it after the show. I'll be right back on The Natter.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back in. All right, lessons learned. I don't think the vertical is going to work on YouTube, but we thought we'd give it a try because, it's discoverable in the shorts when you're live. So I thought I would try it. It's Monday night. Why not? Hope you're enjoying the show. Don't forget the QR code in the top right-hand corner gets you to our ticketing platform, just a way to help us out, the little guy. And make sure to catch the Daily Dive tomorrow at 10 a.m. because I think the National Lacrosse League had some big news. Rochester fired their coach. And, of course, the big trade deadline was today at 3 p.m. So those guys are daily at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much. Let's get on with it because we're down to 8 minutes. This is big. Well, no, let's do this first. Sorry. This is big. That's what she said. So we all look at the TV as sports fans, and we think, oh, I want to be that coach. I want to be her. I want to be him. You sure? Nowadays, here's Virginia Tech's coach, Mike Young, after a game. Poor guy.
Sad. But take nothing away from those guys. They played really hard, and on both teams played really hard. The game. Miss Dunk would have tied it. That kid's playing his guts out. And Hammond misses 2 foul shots. He's up close to 90 on the year. And number 33, come on, man, give me a break. Give me a break, really? Kid makes 2 threes and a huge one over there in front. Come on, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
What the F am I doing wrong, he says. Do you see how exhausted he looks? Here's the problem. For the coaches, and I cry me a river, right? Many of them make over $1 million a year to coach, but they make over $1 million a year to coach, but they're on the road a lot. A lot of these coaches, to get to that point as a head coach, and a lot of them are married with kids. They move every year, every 2 years. Take that assistant job. This assistant job will help you move your way up the ladder. I know some people. I went to school with some people that coach at that level. They're constantly moving. They're constantly under stress. And then you get to that level and you're dealing with players that are getting paychecks now. If you say something wrong to them, they enter the transfer portal. And then this poor coach, they had a game 1, it fell apart. And he says in a press conference, what the F am I doing wrong? Like, this guy's totally exhausted. So it's, have a little more appreciation, which I think it's funny because we've kind of coming full circle here, because I was criticizing Dan Hurley for his exploding on the sideline. I would feel like he had a little less pressure than, say, the Virginia Tech coach. But that's the other problem these coaches face. Yeah, they get a lot of money. They're on TV. It's not always glamorous, but every coach is expected to win. Well, how reasonable is that? Especially in college basketball, there's only one national championship or champion out of like 317 teams. So 316 coaches are going to be disappointed. And then there's only like 30 some conferences. So you subtract that, there's almost 275 coaches a year that didn't hit their goals, and now they're in danger of losing that oftentimes multi-million-dollar job. Although these smaller schools, the small teams, the mid-majors, a lot of these coaches make $700,000-800,000 a year. At that point, you might want to run for Senate. Oh, ba-doom-tsh. Speaking of money, this is kind of a big deal, and sometime this year, X, formerly Twitter, is going to be the next hub for money. Think of it like Robinhood or Acorns, or I guess you could say PayPal, but PayPal you can't. I don't think you can buy stock or crypto on PayPal. But X is really going to change the game. And this kind of ties in with the banks fighting the crypto bill because they kind of see the writing on the wall. But we'll listen to Elon real quick.
For X Money, we actually had X Money live in closed beta within the company. And we expect in the next month or two to go to a limited external beta and then to go worldwide to all X users. And this is really intended to be the place where all the money is.
This intends to be the place where all the money is. And for you young people, I want you to look under where it says cash. Now, this is just a beta account, so they don't have a lot of money in it. Do you see in green under cash and the $25, 6% APY? That is huge. I mean, credit unions are like 4.5%, 5% APY. Robinhood right now is like 4%. 6% APY, then you're going to get 3% cash back on card purchases, debit and credit card purchases through X. That's huge. They're going to steal a huge client base from the institutional banks. I'm telling you, people my daughter's age, mid-20s, the way money's exchanged, the way money's earned, the way money's stored, the way you earn money on your money, which is really the goal for all of us, is have your money make money for you instead of exchanging all your time for the money. This is going to change the game. And I'm even hearing, I'm kind of keeping my eye on the beta because I am a pretty heavy investor. I have a lot of holdings and a lot of different things. But I even heard that if you see a stock symbol in a tweet, you can just click on that symbol and it'll ask you if you want to buy any of it. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff going on. So keep an eye on that. If you're an investor or you value holding your money somewhere that it's going to earn some interest, that's huge. Read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was one of the first books I read coming out of college. And again, that kind of touches on, you have your money work or have your money make money for you instead of exchanging all your time to get money. That's the goal. That's the goal. Now it takes, you got to start building a nest egg before you can do that. But this is wild. Kyrie Irving, he's famous for two things. His on-court play, he helped my Cavs win an NBA championship. And then he's also famous for believing the earth is flat, even though we've been to space and we see otherwise. Now he thinks anybody that's famous, which is weird because he's famous, he thinks they're just actors.
This whole celebrity idea is eroding. The whole fame idea is eroding. That shit was sold to us, y'all. You got people out here that are human, that are acting every day of their life. They're not even real. They just on NPC shit. Every day they acting. They don't even know the world is a stage, dog, and it's a lot of terrible actors.
So I think what he's trying to say, because you can get famous being a basketball player. I think he's saying these, famous people aren't really, they didn't organically become famous. They were selected to act. I don't know. I don't know what NPC shit is. I don't know what he meant by that. I'm an old fart. I'm running out of time, so I don't mean to hurry, but, Coaches getting grilled. This is the title. This bothers me. Listen to this. We'll run a little bit over tonight. This bothers me. I'll talk about it after the clip.
What did you make of Brian Saylor going to the White House?
Miami FC won the championship, and Ryan's part of that squad.
Was that something that he asked you about?
Of course he did. Yeah, of course he did.
And do you feel like that creates any sort of distraction?
No. Why?
I mean, the president's joking about invading Cuba with in front of the...
Okay, that's a political thing. That's not, I can't speak to that. Whatever the president does.
Okay, this is getting old. And the saying, you don't hate the legacy media enough, this is getting old, right? It's been a tradition since we've been a country, essentially, that championship pro teams visit the White House. And the media wants to make it political. And not only are they making it political, they're asking a coach that didn't go. They're asking another coach, a colleague or a peer of the coach. This is the Seattle Sounders coach being questioned on why the Miami FC coach took his team to the White House. Like, what are we doing? The media loves division. Listen, I have friends that are on the left. I have friends on the right. I have friends in the middle. We've made a commitment to each other over the years that we're not going to let this divide us. That's all the media wants is division. It simply comes down, and that coach, good for him. He's like, you're making it political. It's a tradition in this country, and we need some civility. The team should be able to go to the White House. That's a privilege. It doesn't matter if the reporter or the news network likes the current president. Who gives a shit? It's a tradition. Okay? They didn't go to bed with the president. They didn't sleep with them. They went and said hello and did a photo op. And we've been doing it since the beginning of time. Okay? So get over it. And I'm getting tired of the media playing this game. Again, that's why I spend most of my time on X and I watch sound bites. I turn the news on once in a while, but I don't sit there with it on for hours because they hate when people get along. They have nothing to talk about if it's all positivity. Nothing. Speaking of positivity, I've never closed this show with a music video. You can thank AI, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I appreciate you watching. I went a little over, but I had a ton of topics. You probably can't see it there with the light. But I did go a little over. The Great Divide, I'm your host, Jeff Beck. I do this Mondays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, notably, Thursdays, I'm drinking wine, get a little more loose. Mondays are full of meetings all day. Beginning of the week. But I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to end this show for the first time ever with a music video. I think you'll find out real quick. It's AI, but that's okay. You have a great Monday, and you have a great week, and I'll see you Thursday. I'm Jeff Beck, out.
Feel like I'm getting deja vu. This is like a rock war number 2. A rock war number 2. I like the look of those oil supplies. I'd be ashamed if someone invaded you. If someone invaded you. And I ran so far away. About my I'll bomb them night and day, but destroy USA.